The phone screen glowed in the dark, casting a pale blue sheen across my knuckles, clenched tight around the device. It was 2:17 a.m. and the notification, "I'm staying late at the office, don't wait up," burned into my retinas like a brand. My wife, Claire, had sent it 3 hours ago, but the lie festered now, raw and jagged, as I stared at the grainy photo someone had slipped under our apartment door. It showed her unmistakable in her emerald scarf, pressed against a man in a dimly lit bar, her lips grazing his ear. The timestamp, 10:43 p.m. tonight. My chest tightened, a vice of betrayal squeezing the air from my lungs. I wanted to scream, to hurl the phone against the wall, but instead, I sat frozen on the edge of our bed, the silence of our home deafening, her perfume still lingering on the pillow beside me. I traced the photo's edges with my thumb, the cheap paper crinkling under the pressure. The bar's neon sign in the background, the rusty anchor, was a place she'd never mentioned. My mind churned, replaying her words from earlier that day. "I want a week off, Tom. Just some space to breathe." Her voice had been soft, almost pleading, her hazel eyes avoiding mine as she stirred her coffee. I thought she meant from work, from the grind, maybe even from me, but not this. Not him. The man in the photo was a blur, his face half-turned, but the way her hand rested on his arm, intimate and sure, told me everything I didn't want to know. Or did it? Doubt crept in, a slimy whisper. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, a bad angle, a friend she hadn't mentioned. I wanted to believe it, but the ache in my gut screamed otherwise. The apartment felt too small, the walls closing in as I paced the hardwood floor, the boards creaking under my bare feet. Every detail stood out in sharp relief. The chipped mug she'd left on the counter, the faint hum of the fridge, the distant wail of a siren outside. I stopped at the window, staring into the city's restless pulse, lights flickering like accusations. How long had this been going on? Weeks? Months? The signs were there, weren't they? Her late nights at the law firm, her phone always face down, the way her laughter had grown brittle, like glass about to shatter. I'd chalked it up to stress, to her big case, to us hitting a rough patch after 7 years of marriage. But now each memory felt like a breadcrumb leading to this moment. This photo, this knife in my chest. I sank onto the couch, the photo still clutched in my hand, and let the memories flood me. Last month, she'd come home at midnight, her blouse misbuttoned, claiming a coffee spill at the office. I'd laughed it off, made her tea, kissed her forehead. 2 weeks ago, she'd snapped at me for touching her phone, saying she was expecting a work call. I'd apologized, backed off, ignored the sting of her tone. Denial had been my shield, but now it was crumbling, and the truth clawed its way to the surface. My fingers trembled as I opened her text thread, scrolling through the mundane. Grocery lists, reminders, heart emojis that now felt like lies. I typed, "Where are you right now?" But my thumb hovered over the send button. What if she lied again? What if she didn't? The front door clicked open at 3:04 a.m., and my heart lurched. Claire stepped inside, her heels clicking softly, her coat draped over one arm. She froze when she saw me, the dim light catching the flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Tom? Why are you still up?" Her voice was smooth, too smooth, like she'd rehearsed it. She set her bag down, the zipper's faint rasp echoing in the quiet. I held up the photo, my hand steady despite the storm inside me. Her gaze darted to it, and for a split second her face betrayed her. Guilt, raw and unfiltered, before she masked it with confusion. "What's that?" she asked, stepping closer, her scent, jasmine and something sharper like whiskey, hitting me like a punch. "You tell me," I said, my voice low, cracking at the edges. I wanted her to deny it, to give me a reason to believe her, but her silence was deafening. She reached for the photo, but I pulled it back, my pulse hammering. "Who is he, Claire?" The question hung between us, heavy as a guillotine. Her lips parted, but no words came. Instead, she looked away, her fingers twisting the hem of her scarf, the same emerald one from the photo. That small gesture, her nervous tell, shattered any hope I'd clung to. "How long?" I pressed, my voice rising, anger bleeding through the hurt. "It's not what you think," she said finally, her tone brittle, defensive. "He's a colleague. We were just talking, Tom. It was a work thing." But her eyes wouldn't meet mine, and the lie felt like salt in an open wound. A work thing at a bar? At 11 at night. I stepped closer, the photo crumpling in my fist. "Don't lie to me." Not now. My voice broke and I hated how vulnerable it sounded. How much I still loved her even as she tore me apart. She flinched, her shoulders hunching as if bracing for a blow. I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispered, and those words were the final crack in my world. It was just. I felt trapped, Tom. You're always so steady, so perfect, and I. She stopped, her breath hitching. I needed something else just for a moment. Her confession hung in the air, a poison seeping into every corner of the room. I wanted to yell, to demand why I wasn't enough, but all I could do was stare at the woman I'd built my life around, now a stranger unraveling before me. The silence stretched, thick with unspoken questions. Who was he? How many times? Did she love him? But I didn't ask. Instead, I walked to the bedroom, grabbed her suitcase from the closet, and started packing. She followed, her voice trembling. Tom, please, let's talk about this. I don't want to lose you. Her hand grazed my arm and I jerked away, the touch burning. You already did, I said, zipping the suitcase shut. I set it by the door, my heart a hollow drum in my chest. You wanted a week off? Take a lifetime. She stood there, tears streaking her face, but I felt no pity, only a cold, aching void. As she grabbed the suitcase and stepped into the hall, the door clicking shut behind her, I sank to the floor. The photo slipped from my hand, landing beside a crumpled note I hadn't noticed before. Scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting. She's not the only one with secrets. My blood ran cold. I turned the note over, and there in Claire's handwriting was a phone number. Not his. Mine.